Jack Hermansson and Joe Pyfer finally reached the main event of the evening. Wow, what an interesting kind of rise for Joe Pyfer, right? I mean, I feel like he literally the first ranked guy that he fights is going to be a main event for him. So, Dana White is definitely pushing this guy. He wants everyone to be like Joe Pyfer, right? So, main event right now, Jack Hermansson, 23-8. He is 2-3 in his last five. Coming off of that sub loss to Roman Dolidze, which has not aged well at all. Fighting against Joe Pyfer, 12-2, 5-0 in his last five, coming off of that submission victory over Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Let's check the odds right now. Um, Joe Pyfer minus 268. So there was a little bit of value on him actually last week. He opened up at minus 250. Our man Top G got that value. I remember that. So good for him. Right now, I feel like it's just steaming one direction, and mainly it's probably due to that Dolidze loss. Because man, people saw that Dolidze was like a fraud, basically, in my opinion. I think the whole world kind of saw that, and they saw that Jack Hermansson lost to this dude. So I feel like everyone's just kind of pushing the Joe Pyfer train. Very interesting there. Alex, I'll let you break down the main event first. What do you think about Joe Pyfer versus Jack Hermansson here?
Yep. So first start with Hermansson. I think he has a very unique and interesting fighting style. Um, he's very elusive, hops around and kind of circles the cage, then utilizes timing to engage with straight punches and a lot of leg kicks. That Roman Dolidze fight, man, he really should have won that fight, to be honest. But he got randomly caught in a calf slicer. Um, he has a very Hermansson. He has a very impressive resume, having fought a majority of the top level uh, middleweight opponents. And then on the other hand, you have Joe Pyfer, obviously a huge prospect for the UFC. This will definitely be his toughest test uh, thus far. So if Pyfer is smart, he should implement a heavy grappling game plan, um, especially because Pyfer doesn't really throw out much volume. He should try and avoid getting poked at from distance. Um, Man, I know Top G is very confident in Pyfer, but I'm actually thinking of staying away from this one. Like, I haven't seen Pyfer go against a uh, volume-oriented fighter like Jack, and I would be a lot more confident in Pyfer if I knew he was going to wrestle, essentially. Um, so yeah, I'm staying away from this one, but I want to give it to Pyfer. I hope Pyfer wins, because he has crazy power. Seems like a very exciting fighter. Just need to see him get more experience. That's it.
Yeah, man. I'm just thinking beat Joe Pyfer. Beat Joe Pyfer throughout the whole breakdown. I'm buying. Let me buy this. I'm good on this, even with those odds. I think anything like under minus 300, just give me Joe Pyfer. I mean, Jack, all right, he's a solid all around fighter, decent everywhere, but he's just not great anywhere, in my opinion. He likes to move in the cage, like you mentioned. I feel like he has a really tricky style at some points. He was able to just dance on Chris Curtis for 3 rounds. He has an okay jab, leg kick, uses that to fight from the outside. I think Jack is a good grappler, but he's just not top tier. We saw that in the Roman Dolidze fight. I feel like he thought that he was a better grappler than he was, and he quickly got schooled in the art of grappling by Roman, unfortunately. He was going to win that fight. I mean, he was piecing up Roman on the feet, and I think he just let the grappling ego get the best of him in that sense. He has 3 sub wins in the UFC, 1 sub loss. Likes to push ground and pound once on top, though. He has good sub skills, has pretty good guillotine. I just feel like Joe Pyfer is just hand chosen. He's one of those Dana White privilege kind of people, man. I feel like Dana White has set him up with this. Dana White went through the middleweight rankings, saw that, hey, man, who's like the least dangerous dude that we can put in front of this dude and just make him a show. and I feel like he's choosing this guy to be the next contender, at least in the middleweight division. Uh, Joe Pyfer striking, likes to advance, pressure opponents. I do think he has one shot KO power. I mean, this guy's nickname is body bags, bro. Like this guy, he puts people in body bags if he touches you. Dangerous once he gets close, unleashes those like looping shots. Even has some strong straights as well. He really likes to target the body. Aforementioned nickname is body bag, so this guy is just like really unleashes those punches really well. I also think that the reason why I'm even more confident in this pick is because in his last fight. I mean, I feel like he's well versed in power takedowns. He can shoot, use trips and throws as well. Good control on top, powerful ground and pound. That Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight, even though, hey, I mean, Abdul is not that great, but Joe Pyfer showed enough skills in that fight for me to be able to see that this guy has the total package, in my opinion. Um, I just feel like he's well rounded everywhere. The only hesitancy that I would have that I think would make sense is this is going to be, Joe Pyfer's first main event, first 5 round fight. Do we know if this guy even has the cardio to go 3 rounds, let alone five? So, we'll see what happens. But I just think that this fight is setting up Joe to be the next star at 185. Jack is just not dangerous enough on the feet to make Joe pay as he advances forward looking for a KO. I do think at some point Jack will resort to trying to test Joe's grappling. However, I think that Joe will be more than enough for Jack in the grappling department. And I feel like he has a kind of a less than stellar takedown accuracy, right? It's like 29%. He does land it, but I don't think that that's going to be the person to beat Joe Pyfer. So eventually, I feel like Joe is going to find the KO or a club and sub. I'm agreeing with Top G here, man. Give me him as a parlay piece, even at minus 268. Anything over minus like 300, bro. Like, yeah, that might be a little bit too rich for my taste, but I'm buying. I'm buying on Joe Pyfer this week, giving me in a parlay. Um, Top G, by the way, got him at minus 195. So, man, I'm
Damn.
really jealous of that. And he parlayed him with Natalia Silva. So
For
I'm
one
hoping,
G.
yeah, I'm hoping that shit cashes that G for Top G right there. Um,
Uh,
yeah,
I will say though that when I was with Gerard last week, he told me Joe Pyfer actually uh they he did some like measuring thing where like you measure the power that
facts. Yeah,
you hit
I know about that. Yeah.
like a thing with, and he outpowered Francis Ngannou so at middleweight. So
This guy's dangerous, bro. I'm telling you,
body bags.
it's a dangerous boy.